Yesterday, we had a woman climb the Statue of Liberty with no climbing equipment, no harnesses, no anything. And I want you to watch this news clip. Definitely the woman has been identified, and we have her picture in the thumbnail. But let's roll the clip.
Protesters take a stand on Independence Day at Liberty Island, and tourists had to be evacuated after a woman climbed to the base of the Statue of Liberty, and after several hours, she is now under arrest. We have a live picture from New York of the Statue of Liberty. You can see there investigators are still at the scene. The woman was at the bottom of the statue's robes, about 100 feet above the ground. Well, actually, there you see a nice wide shot of the Statue of Liberty, but right at the base is where she was, and that's where just a short time ago police got to her. Look at this video. It was difficult because the woman kept moving away from police when they got close. There you see when they finally grabbed her, she kept saying she would not get down until all the children are free. Now, all of this started after a protest group calling itself Rise and Resist dropped a banner that read "Abolish ICE" from the base of the statue. After several hours, the National Park Service sent police to the base to get the climber. They set up ladders and a rope system, but again, the woman proved elusive and stayed away from police for several hours. A member from that group, Rise and Resist, now says the person on the statue was one of them, but they did not know she was going to do this.
Unknown to us, one of our members decided to take this action. We are concerned for her safety the way everyone's concerned for her safety, but we literally just found out, confirmed through a photo, that is someone that we know while we were on the ferry coming back here.
Tell me about her. Did you know she was going to do this?
We had no idea. As I said very clearly, we had no idea. She didn't discuss it with anybody. We had no idea that she was going to do this.
And during that interview in the back, you could see all those people walking off. Well, getting all of the tourists off that island certainly was not easy. Officials say this is the busiest time of the year. The island was at near capacity at about 4,000 to 4,500 people, so they had to use all the boats that they have on hand. They were tasked to move people off that island.
Now, this woman is 44 years old, and to say you're 44 years old and you could climb the Statue of Liberty with no equipment at all, shout out to you and your physical fitness. But this woman, she is a immigrant herself from the Congo. So she's an African sister. Her name is Therese Patricia Okamu. That is her name. She's been in this country for a while now, but she's had some issues. Now, they said in '05, she claimed that she was treated in a demeaning manner by her bosses and told that she would be fired for complaining for discrimination. But they did toss her claim out in 2011. She made headlines after she was hit with 60 violations for illegally posting ads for her services as a personal trainer. Let me tell you something. Obviously, her training working. If she can climb the Statue of Liberty, and if you see the picture, she's real physically fit. She doing something right. So maybe people should start going to her in the New York area if she get out of jail. I'm just saying. I mean, whatever training she's doing is working. They say she was hit with another fine of $4,500 after she spent 5 hours posting flyers on utility poles. They're trying to promote her business. I don't see how that could be a violation, but, you know, every city is different on that. They say also in 2017 she was arrested and charged with obstruction governmental administration, unlawful assembly, and trespassing during a demonstration at the Department of Labor. She allegedly covered her mouth with tape and refused to respond to police demands. So she's been out there as an activist. Just a few things about her. Now, she was part of a group called Rise and Resist New York, and the activists had a banner, as you can see, called Abolish ICE. Now, they said the organizers, this the crazy part right here, and see this, black folks, I'm going to get to you, even though it's a little different with her because she's African, but we'll get back to that as well, because Dr. Mumbi in the other interview has stated the mindset of a lot of Africans. Here is stating that the group says they had no connection at all with what she done on the Statue of Liberty. They say they didn't know nothing. We disavow that. That's not us. So instead of riding with your team member, instead of riding with your fellow activists, you back it up and say, I had nothing to do with that. On top of that, they stated that she was dedicated to the resistance and the issues surrounding immigration and treatment of immigrants being received by ICE. They say she's been an active member for 5 months. She said she didn't tell any of us about this plan. We're all shocked. They say we really are taken aback And at first, when we realized our fellow member, it wasn't until we was able to see close-up photos of her that we realized it was her. Now, she's in federal custody for what she done. And this Rise and Resist has been working with legal representation now that she's in federal custody. We don't know fully what her charge is going to be just yet. She's supposed to be going to court here shortly. But this is the thing. And it goes back to my video that I made about immigration. And a part in that video, I stated that those who are in the Latino community must get involved with the fight, must get involved with their own liberation. Other people can't fight for you. You must get involved in your own liberation. What I'm constantly seeing is a bunch of white people. I'm seeing some blacks. And yes, I'm seeing some Latinos, but it seems like other people are kind of putting themselves out in the forefront. But my thing is, when it comes to African immigrants, Trump isn't snatching up a bunch of African children right now. He's snatching up children that's coming from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras. That's what most of them coming from. Yes, some are coming from Mexico, but I told you in my immigration video, that's where they mostly coming from. And yes, I told you in the video, I get why they coming. If you look at El Salvador, they are murdering each other like it's not even no tomorrow. I mean, how they killing each other per day. I mean, they got some savagery going on in El Salvador. I watched a whole documentary on what they going on down there. I mean, it's straight up terrorism was going on. But why is it that people within their own community is standing up for the children? Why is it that we don't see prominent actors, actresses, musicians being the loudest about what's happening at that border? Let's just call that what it is. Everybody say it's wrong. Nobody's agreeing with it. But at the same time, when we go back to, if you're not going to fight for your own community, why is it that everybody else has to step in and step their neck out? And to this African sister, you know, I mean, there's plenty of issues in the Congo that you could stand up about or even protest about that. There's plenty of issues right here in America that's going on within the black community that you could speak up about or be a part of. Like, what is it you was going to accomplish by climbing the Statue of Liberty? Other than now you're in federal custody. And the way Trump is, you probably get yourself deported for that stunt you pull. You're not going to abolish ICE by putting a sign out or climbing the Statue of Liberty. And let's call it what it is. I was reading that black immigrants come in legally more than any other group. Statistically, they do. So Trump is not really going after a whole lot of black immigrants. Now, what he is doing is affecting black immigrants is he's removing the temporary protection status that's been given to people from certain black nations, and now he's calling them to be deported. That's how black people getting caught up with Trump's situation. But black people aren't crossing the border illegally. No, they actually coming in the right way, and doing temporary protection status is actually coming in a legal way. It wasn't illegal. So she is doing all this, but my thing is, where is not just this group, but where is La Raza? Are they going to come out in mass and support this woman? Are they going to demand that she be set free? Are they going to have their attorneys represent her for free? Because, hey, she's fighting for their cause. That's how you show appreciation. And also, where are their activists to stand up and take the lead in that fight? Why black folks got to get involved and do that? You saw that other black man. He out there. Okay, fine. Brother, where were you at when our brothers and sisters are shot by police or treated, you know, with much discrimination? Every 5 minutes, we got someone calling 911 on a black person just for being black, hopefully to get murdered by cops. But I don't see any mass protests or any of these other people getting angry about that. You must understand something. The political left has traded in black folks and cast you aside for immigration. It's not people that's coming in immigration in itself, because people try to blur the line and say, no, you don't like immigrants. I don't have an issue with nobody. The issue that what was going on is the illegal version of it, not people immigrating. Like a lot of the black immigrants are coming in a legal way. So if the black immigrants are coming in a legal way, why would someone say you must get involved in the fight with going on in your community? That's a problem. Why black people feel this way? And I've explained before, 'cause we have fought. We have been super Negroes for everybody, and we can't even fight for ourselves. That's our problem, and that's what I look at us about as black folk. Why do you hate yourself so much that you will literally risk your life to climb on the Statue of Liberty to protest something that has nothing to do with you personally or your community personally? We will save everyone else's life, but we won't save our own. That's why on my Instagram, I posted that little clip from Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, where you had that black dude, yet he's the pro-black dude, and yet when the shooting was going on there, the black woman needed help, and he jumped past her to save the white woman. That's black folks. We would jump past us to save everybody else outside of us, and we make excuses to why we can't do something for black folks. I guarantee you ask that same woman, hey, you know, this happened to a black immigrant in New York City. Let's get some protesting going on. Let's take some extreme measures. You know, I'm not saying she wouldn't protest, but I don't see her making extreme measures. We always got an excuse why we can't do something for black folk. We always got an excuse. But for other people, we sympathize. We put on our, super Negro cape. This is what we do. And I don't understand that. If we don't help ourselves, who else is going to help us? During the civil rights movement, did you see other people taking the lead on that? Who was taking the lead on the civil rights movement? Black folk. Who was the front of it? Black folk. Because it affected black people. You can't expect other people to take the lead when something happening to you. That's why I don't get that. I don't. Every movement we ever had that affected us, we were the face. We were the forefront of it. Other people we didn't fall back, and other people just fought for us. Even when they try to lie to you and talk about the Civil War, well, we helped free the slaves, Civil War. Man, black people were fighting on both sides of the coin. What are you talking about? Black people fought for their own freedom many times. But I'm saying, why with this woman, if we would climb Statue of Liberty for what's going on in our community or injustices, what's happening to us constantly, I would understand that. I would even understand if she would be consistent on just that all the way around. But you just seeing one issue going on only with the illegal immigration issue. Come on. We got to do better than that, black people. We literally going to be extinct. And other people sit there and watch us put on that cape and save them. But when we need saving, we by ourselves. Nobody will come in and save us. They will tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Maybe you should have been committing crimes. That's what we're told. But I guess it's okay with a lot of black people. And then if a black person say something about it, those who believe in that liberalism say, well, you hate people. That's not hating people. It's talking about things that are just out in the forefront. Why has to be hate to point out something that black folks aren't doing for themselves, but yet doing for others? There's no hate in that. That's just a fact. You have to preserve your community. And if you're not going to preserve it, that's why our community is going to hell in the handbasket every single day. And it's like a lot of black folks don't care. They're still worrying about trying to get a pat on the head from other groups of people, playing super Negro. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this situation. But this sister could fight about injustice definitely in the Congo, how a lot of children are being treated out there, and how the colonizer and the Chinese and all these other ones still in the coltan from Congo. But she ain't fighting about any of that, which would be honorable for her to fight for. She's worrying about something that has nothing to do with her. Now she's in federal custody, probably going to be deported.